God bless all of you. Welcome to Back to Basics Eyes of Faith broadcast. You heard it. You heard the name with Pastor James E. Sturdivant. No, that's how Oprah Winfrey, she be introducing people when she holds it out for a little while. Sturdivant. Hey everybody, Church Talk Radio, welcome.
Woo! Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. You all heard it, Pastor Sturdivant. He is currently away, but we are here. We are his co-hosts. Cohorts. And I am Janice Sturdivant, and this is
That'sTheBest.com.
What?
.org.
What?
.net.
What?
.edu. The
What?
whole box of dots.
Yes, and we are here. YouTube. Hey. How are you all doing? We are excited to be here. We are glad to be here. Normally on Wednesdays we normally do 2 shows, but today there were some technical difficulties. Karen Hudson, I see you. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you. There were some difficulties where there was no power. There was no power in the studio where we normally do our first broadcast in the morning. So we were not able to, do anything live. But I tell you, we got something to say right now this afternoon. And we thank those who are tuning in, those who are going to be tuning in. Ms. Lisa Chu, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And let me just say this, Church Talk, because last week this time, on this day, last week, this time, we had the honor and the privilege to be in the Church Talk Studios live and in living color. We were there, and when I tell you, it was such a blessing, such a good time. There's no way that we can talk about how much of a good experience it was being in New York. I think that was in the Long Island area, the Huntington area. Everybody was so generous, so nice, so kind. And I can't say anything about that trip without thanking the one who helped made it possible, the one who took care of us, the one who was our driver, the one who just made sure we had everything that we needed, the one every month who looks out, who allows us to be on Church Talk Radio, the one and only Miss Lisa Chu. Woo! The one and only Miss Lisa Chu. Woo! The one and only Miss Lisa Chu. Woo! Thank you so much.
Yes,
she is
so
a beautiful person inside and out, and I love it because there are people nowadays who do things but want credit. They want you to, put their name in Broadway lights, and scream it out and put it all on social media. But she does what she do without needing any type of. She does what she do without needing any type of gratification or notoriety, and that's what makes her so special. And Ms. Lisa,
we love you.
We love you. We love you. And then the one who holds it down every week. I mean, to be in the studio right there in front of her. I mean, we was right there. I mean, normally we're doing it across the phone, the airways, but we had a chance to just be right there, and she was holding it down. She was working the telephones, then she was working the computer, then she was working, she was doing the camera, she was doing everything. Thank you so much. And that is the one and only Lady Michelle, who does it and makes us sound good and look good every week with having Church Talk Radio Facebook page, and she posted everything on last week. If you missed it, go to Church Talk on Facebook or download the app or go on Church Talk website, and you can see the show from last week. It was phenomenal. We had such a great time, great energy, and just good vibes, good times all around. So had to give that shout out because our visit there was as a result of us being on the radio. Gloria Montgomery, good afternoon. being on the radio with Church Talk for a year. And the schedule conflict where our anniversary was in June, but because of travels and all those things, we weren't able to make it in June, but everybody availed their schedules and everything to be a part, and we was able to go last week. Such a wonderful time. So we had to put that plug in because, you know, Church Talk family, you guys are, y'all, where is that? You know, y'all have good love, and we appreciate it. Yeah. Go ahead, Steph. Greet the people.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm super excited. Like Janine said, it was a great time last week, and it was just amazing to be in the atmosphere. It's kind of different, you know, being on the phone versus being there in person, and then, you know, being on the other side of the camera for a second and seeing the people tuning in and, you know, commenting. That's great, and I'm glad you guys are sharing it. You're getting Pastor's word out there. We're getting the back to basics teaching out there, because that's needed in itself, not only for myself, I'm sure you need it as well, Janice, and but for those that you guys get to share it with, getting his name out there, and, you know, just putting us out on a platform where other people who don't necessarily come to church every Sunday get to hear a word.
Yes, it's amazing, and we got to shout out to all the supporters every week. Those who tune in via YouTube, and if you know YouTube family or Church Talk family, those who are tuning in on Facebook. And we're no longer on Facebook. We have transitioned from Facebook Live to YouTube Live in August. So we've been doing this for over a month. We've been doing YouTube Live only. So if you know some who have not caught on to us being on YouTube, and they're still thinking that we're on Facebook, or they think that we canceled our show, we still here. We are still here. No. We're just not on Facebook. So encourage them to, you know, log into Pastor Sturdivant's page. You can do that. His YouTube page is James E. Sturdivant, J. Sturdivant, very simple. And you can see all, that's the thing about YouTube. You can see all of the shows that we've done from the beginning. You can see all of the shows that we've done on YouTube. Watch them way from the beginning and enjoy it. So we encourage you all to do that. Before we get into the teaching, because we do have something to say, we just want to definitely put the plug in as it relates to just Pastor Sturdivant and all that he's doing, his awesome ministry. I mean, he's been on the move. He's been on the move now that I kind of think about it, because we've been holding it down for him a few times. He's been on the move, but we thank God, because God has really just been opening up so many doors for him. And it's not just in preaching, it's also in teaching and evangelizing. And this is all the things that he does. A lot of people just think that he's just a preacher. No, he's a teacher, he's a speaker, he's an evangelist, he's a mentor, he's a coach. I mean, he does all of those things. So the Lord has really been blessing him. And if you want to keep up with the now as it relates to Pastor Sturdivant, this dude behind us on YouTube, y'all can see, you can go on his webpage. His webpage give you everything that he's doing, all that he's a part of as it relates to the Mosaic Gathering, which is one of his mentoring gatherings that he does with an elite group of people. And he does that and meet with them once a week on a conference call. And he has so many things. He has a men's ministry. He has so many things that he's doing. If you want to be a part in following Pastor Sturdivant, go on his webpage, and that's www.JESturdivantministries. That's TRIES.com. Again, www.JESturdivantministries.com. Follow him on his webpage. Be a part of what's going on, and you can stay connected with him. Also, as we mentioned, every week we mention this as it relates to Pastor Sturdivant, because we mentioned that he's a preacher, he's a speaker, he's a teacher, he's a mentor, he's a coach, but he's also an author. And he's written 6 books, has a couple more books that's coming out before the end of the year. Y'all trying to figure out, how does he have time to do all of these things? I promise you, he makes time. And these books, we've been having the privilege to take them around the states and take them around the world. And I tell you, the response of people wanting these books and just wanting to be connected with him, and the testimonies that come from him. We did mention the last time that we was going to have some people who have read these books to share their testimonies on air to encourage you all, because you all think that we're just on here talking about these books because they're Pastor Sullivan books. No, these books have changed people's lives. We've seen the miracles. We've heard the stories, and you know, people don't just talk just to be talking. I mean, his recent book, Encouragement in Small Doses, which is really what it is, giving you that encouragement that you need. It's just a small portion where he gives you an encouragement, he gives you a scripture, and a prayer to go with it. And it's so simple. You can read one of these in a matter of 2 minutes or less. This is so simple. He made it. This is his most recent one. He had written this book for the millennials, this generation, intentionally, because you know our time frame. You know, we attentive for a short period of time. So this is something that's real quick and easy. But what about this book stuff? A Divine Hunger.
No, this is a daily devotional, and I'm telling you, I started this, and it took me out a little bit. You have to be ready, yes, and it almost kind of makes you think, like, if I'm not thirsting for the Word of God and I'm not hungry for, you know, Him, then what am I getting that's making me full? Like, what is it that is taking that place? And it when I was realizing that, I was like, whoo, yeah. So you guys need to get this one. This is a good one.
What are you really hungry for? And then what are you filling your stomach with? That's something that you want to kind of read. Yeah, it's a 40-day devotion. And after 40 days, what you have been praying for and what you believe in. Because even with this devotion, it also gives you a prayer point. So this is also something that
gives you some space to write it out. I'm telling you, it makes you really look at some things.
A lot of times we just read and skim through stuff. But when you have to actually write the vision and make it plain, that's when you almost have to kind of consider, what am I doing? Then this other book, Daily Confessions for Impacting Your World. I love this book because this book has you really kind of consider what you say out of your mouth. It really kind of have you to think about what you talk about. And Pastor, when he talks about this book, he always says how this book will have you think about what you say, because words have power, and you can either create or cremate your world by your words. And we don't realize that we either are speaking life or death based off of what we say out of our mouth. This book will tell you the difference between the two. Daily Confessions for Impacting Your World. Hearing and knowing the voice of God. This book is powerful.
Now, I always say when I talk about this book that this really is my favorite. I've read this book at least 3 times. At least. And it's only because when you hear so much, sometimes you can get lost just trying to translate what you're hearing. And because there is more than one voice, the voice of self, the voice of God, and the voice of the enemy, and it just kind of, you have to make sure you're listening and you're hearing from the right one at the right time. And if you're not, I mean, putting these 2 books together, I'm telling you, it can definitely make or break your life.
No longer crippled from trauma to triumph. And I love this because this is really a testimonial book. This book actually, you know, tells you as far as how you can come from a traumatic situation and be victorious. And this book, Pastor has revised this book because this is his first book that he's written.
I remember.
And he, you know, he edited and wrote some and added some things to it. And I was reading it and listening to him reading it the other day, and it was just like some of the stuff that he wrote about. Even though he wrote this book over 10 years ago, it's still applicable, it's still meaningful as it relates to trauma, because people think that trauma is just physical, but we experience traumatic situations in our thinking, in our mental, in our financial, in our workplace, in every way, and we don't know how to come from a trauma and become victorious. This book, being no longer crippled, not allowing what you go through cripple you. I'm telling you, this amazing book will bless you. And then Learning to Soar, Facing Life Challenges. I promise you, these 2 books kind of go hand in hand. No longer crippled, and then Learn to Soar. Because once you become, you know, free from being crippled, then you can soar and be victorious. So you have to get all of these books. These books are a blessing, I'm telling you. And these books we talk about all the time, not just because it's something that we love to do, but because these books can bless and save your life and your family life. You can get these books, again, with that web page information that I provided to you all earlier. Pastor Sturdivant, his personal page, it has his books. You can download the books, and the books, we can ship it out to your address. That web page, again, is www.jesturdivantministries.com, and you can go ahead, select the book. You know, when you select it, it gives you a synopsis, a brief paragraph of the book, and then it also has Pastor Sturdivant talking about each book. So do yourself a favor and purchase one of these books. And even if you're thinking about, you know, Christmas gifts now, because we get into that season, let this be a gift that you give to somebody, because the material stuff as far as shoes and clothes and all those things are good, but those things only last for so long. But if you want to really bless somebody with a gift, give them something that's going to bless their spirit, that's going to bless their soul. We encourage you all to do that. And if you want to be a partner of Back to Basics broadcast, or you want to become a sponsor, you have an event or something that you're doing that you want Pastor Sturdivant to be a part of, or you want Pastor Sturdivant to announce and promote, you can do that, and you can contact me, Janice Sturdivant, and that phone number is 301-736-2383. 301-736-2383. That phone number is 301-736-2383. Contact me. Janice Sturdivant. And if you want to become a sponsor, or you want Pastor Sturdivant to be a part of your next event, I can provide you with that information that is so needed. Well, let's get into this teaching, because...
But before we get into that teaching real quick, I want you to tell them about the event that's coming up.
Oh, man, we got a
phenomenal... That is needed, too.
Yes, we got a phenomenal event that's happening. One of the things that we've been listening to you all request as a result of the teachings that we've been doing here on Church Talk and our other broadcasts. We've been hearing you all, you know, say you got to do a conference as it relates to relationships and family. And because you all have made that request, we are now doing that. Our church family, the Sturdivant family, and those that are connected to us, we are having a Family Matters event. Family Matters, dealing with the matters of the family. And we are doing that on Saturday, October the 13th. Saturday, October the 13th. Please save that date in your phone. Saturday, October the 13th. And it's something that we're doing because not only that you requested it, but because it's so needed. It's so needed. And we're realizing that, you know, everybody have dysfunctions in their family.
Of course.
And we all have matters in our family that we have been dealing with for generations and generations, and it's still going on in some families. And when does it come to an end, some may ask. And so we're going to be having this luncheon that's going to consist of a panel discussion. We're going to have some family counselors. We're going to have some family activities, and we're going to try to do some things to get to the root of why things have happened the way they have happened, and how can we grow? How can we move on from there? So we extended invitation. Our family extended invitation for your family to be a part of this event. And we realized that even during this season, which is why we were so keen in doing it in October, because it is the holiday season right after that. And you know, with the holiday season, it's all about family with Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so we don't want people to go into the holiday season having that hatred or bitterness or even that division amongst each other. Because as you are seeing in today's time, life is short. And who you may have seen last year during the holiday, you may not see. And it's so upsetting when you see people who are remorse because a loved one has transitioned and they say the words, oh, I wish I would have, or I wish I should have, or I wish I did more. You know, instead of having those regret, remorse feelings, why not do it when you have the ability to do? I saw you, Miss Lisa Chu. Thank you so much for putting that information. Saturday, October the 13th at 10 o'clock, Faith United Ministries, 7905 Fernham Lane, District Heights, Maryland, 20747. You can please come travel. I mean, it doesn't matter, because here's the thing. When you're making an investment for your family, for your life, it's worth it.
It is. And, you know, speaking of an investment, I just know we invest so much other things into ourselves, into our family, into, you know, generations that are coming after us based off of what we're doing now. And it's just something so small, like this whole conference can change that what has been set forth before us. And it's just like, we need to make this investment. It's so small compared to the other investments that we make that could be negative.
It's so small. We'll invest and buy a pair of Jordans. That's just the only thing I can think of. And we'll do that, and we'll buy that as Christmas gifts for our children. And I think one pair goes up easily to like $200-something, or probably more than that. I don't know, because I don't buy them. But from when I used to wear them like 10 years ago, that's how much they were. And we make those investments as an example in material stuff that only lasts for like that year. But why not make an investment that will be long term? That's for the soul. That's for your spirit. And so we encourage you all. Like I know we was talking to the people, you know, when we were in Church Talk Studios last week, and someone said, you know, we're gonna drive down there, and I think it's so amazing, because when you realize, okay, my daughter and our relationship matters, or, you know, my grandparents and my relationship, you know, when you realize that those relationships matter and you want to rectify some things that may have been broken, or, you know, get delivered from some things that may have caused hurt or pain, you want to make that investment. And we are making the investment to make this the best conference, the most, you know, impacting conference. And so we're doing all that we can, and we want you to join and be a part. Saturday, October 13th at 10 a.m. It's a small fee. For those that are 18 and up, it's only $20.
It's nothing.
Only $20. And it includes a full spread lunch. Again, family counselors. It includes so much for only $20, 18 and up. For those 12 and 17, it's only $10. And then those that are 11 and under, it's only $5.
It's nothing.
Very small. The most you're going to spend is $20 for an adult. And we pay more for that for a concert that only lasts for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Or a movie ticket that lasts for an hour. Make this investment. I encourage you, I admonish, I invite you to be a part of that. Now, as it relates to our teaching, and over the past months, we've been talking about this thing called love. And what's so even amazing, because you're trying to figure out where's Pastor Sturdivant, where Pastor Sturdivant is actually celebrating he and his rib, he and his wife, his companion, his friend, they are celebrating 40 years being married, 40 years saying I do, 40 years saying till death do us part, 40 years saying it's not about me, it's about you.
Wow,
40 years of love. Unconditional. They are celebrating. They are away celebrating. They just celebrated it on September the 16th, this past Sunday. And they are celebrating this thing called love. And so that's why you don't see him here. You see him behind us on the board, but you don't see him physically, because he is doing what we've been teaching about all this time, as far as love, and love is action. And with love being action, you know, you do things to show love. You know, even if it's, you know, taking time out from your daily routine to be able to spend time with this special one. You do those things because I said I love you. And so even with, you know, just thinking about that, and even knowing their relationship and their marriage, they have gone through so much, and it wasn't all perfect. It wasn't all good. There were, you know, some mistakes that were made in a marriage. There were some failures that happened, but despite of what they went through, love kept them together. It didn't separate them. And so that's what we've been talking about over since we started this back in February. We started this back in February as it relates to love, and we've come from it from many perspectives, because we've been using as a scripture base, even talking about the different kinds of love from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, and it was talking about how love is patient and love is kind, and gave us all those things as far as how love is, and we've been using that as our foundation. But today, Steph and I want to kind of put a spin on it. And YouTube, I would love for you all to comment and join us in this conversation. We're going to read your comments and we just want to talk about it. And we're going to give you our perspective from millennials, and still keeping with the same thing as relates to love, but coming from it with liking and love, and how they are two different things. How, there's one thing as it relates to I like you, but there's another thing when it comes to I love you. That's two different things. And a lot of people may say, well, one don't have nothing to do with the other. Well, that's your own personal opinion. But, even when it comes to liking, sometimes liking is the foundation of the relationship before you love. Because when you think about like comes from a lot of things. Like implies positive emotions. When I say that I like you, it's positive things. Just like when I say I don't like you, it's because of negative emotions. So before I break down the two, Steph, I'm gonna just have you give your perspective with liking and loving, and then we're gonna talk about the things pertaining to two and the things in between.
When I think of liking, it's almost like a lighter version of love, where it's not as deep, it's not as heavy, it's not as committed, it's not as needy. It's just more. It's a lighter version of loving.
Right. When I was doing research, one of the things that was mentioned, it says liking is based on things such as mutual interests, compatibility of temperament and personalities, so that we're compatible as it relates to our personalities and our temperament. It also says as far as having that fun feeling, fun fulfilling feeling. That fun fulfilling feeling.
Got it.
It's again, it's the foundation of, love. And when you think about those who said that they love somebody, and because we just used him as an example with Pastor Sturdivant and Lady Sturdivant celebrating 40 years of being married. Before they were married, they were together 6 years. So in all, they had been together for 46 years, married for 40 years. And in those 6 years before they said, I do, I love you, I want to spend the time with you, there was that liking stage. It was the whole thing of, let's get to know each other. What is it about you that I enjoy? What is it about me that makes you smile? Do our personalities connect? So they had to form something as it relates to a liking or a bond. And then once they formed that, then they had to build on, okay, let's see if this liking really does last. And they did that for 6 years before they then, said, I do. So the liking stage to me is significant because for me, and again, it's all based off of personal opinion. You may have your own perspective, but for me, it is the foundation because I have to. It's not that I have to. I was watching Bill Cosby, the Cosby Show the other day. I was watching the Cosby Show. Yeah, I love the Cosby Show. I don't care what anybody says. The Cosby Show is like a show that has so many lessons in it, from family matters to marriage relationships, with children, with just relationships overall. The Cosby Show has a lot of lessons. And the episode I was watching the other day was when Denise Huxtable was she had to make a decision as far as her going to college, and she finally made a decision to go to college, and they were leaving, and everybody, this is like literally her leaving. This is also the time she was transitioning in real life. She was transitioning from being on the Cosby Show to go towards the Different World Show. And so she was leaving. It was like her last episode, the last episode of the season of this show. And one moment that was shared during the episode was when it got towards the end of the episode and everybody was outside loading all of her stuff up in a car to go to college. Her mom, Claire Huxtable, had a moment with her, And she shared with her, she said, you know, I'm really going to miss you. And, you know, it was kind of a sentimental moment. And she said, I'm not going to miss you just because I love you. Mm-hmm. She said, I'm going to miss you because I like you. Oh, and one of the things is just because you love somebody doesn't necessarily mean that you like them. Now, with family members, you know, it's almost like you love them because they are your family.
But you don't have to like them.
But you don't have to like them. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, like, I already love you. Mm-hmm. I don't have to like you. Right. You're my sister, you're my brother, you're my mom, you're my pops. You know what I mean? I already love you. I don't have to like you. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that kind of made it like a touching moment with the episode is because even though I already love you because you're my daughter, mm-hmm. but I like you as a person. And that says a lot. That says a lot because liking somebody is also a choice. When you like somebody, you enjoy them. Even as far as the relationships that you can choose that aren't your family, your friends, your co-workers, the people that you go out and party with and hang out with, you know, you like them because they give you that good feeling. Mm-hmm. So there is a difference between liking and loving, but then love in itself is a total different playground. Yeah. Love in itself is a totally different playground because loving is even though liking is based off of mutual interest. Loving may not necessarily be all that natural for some people. Mm-hmm. It may not be that natural. When I go down the street and I walk past you, I'm not going to immediately love you. You know, loving requires a little bit more work. And that's why some of us really don't love as easily or love as much. I'll like you, but I may not love you because love requires more work. Now you see, even as it relates to the divorce rate, how it's getting higher and higher every time the year, you know, passes, you know, because people are not wanting to put that work in when it comes to love. So even as far as celebrating 40 years of marriage with Pastor Sturdivant and his wife is a accomplishment because a lot of people don't put in their work that long. Right. As far as love. Because love is irregardless of what's going on. Love is unconditional. Right. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. Love is not based off of condition. Love is not based off of, okay, if you do this, then, you know, whatever. Love is a choice. And love sometimes can hurt. Mm-hmm. It hurts. Whereas if I don't like you, I just don't like you and I cut you off. But when you love, even when it hurts, it's something about love that you stay, even when it hurts. What is your perspective when we talk about love before we talk about the other things?
Pretty much like when I just said that like is a lighter version of it. Right. It's heavy. Love, like we've been talking about it for so long, it's now starting to actually like sink in and I'm noticing what I actually do love and things that bring about that feeling of love versus things that I like or lust after, and it's just making a difference between the two. But love is definitely something that is ongoing. It never changes and it never fails.
It shouldn't. Yeah. And we have abused and used the word so much that it has lost its value, because even when you think of love thinks and acts certain ways towards people with or without positive emotions. So when I say I love you even when you cuss me out and you do me wrong and you destroy my character and my name, and I still love you. When you just mess everything up about me negatively, but I still love you. That's tough. And so even when you think about love, it's hard, because one of the main characteristics about love, even though love is patient, you know, love does not envy, love does not boast, love is not proud, love is not rude, it's not self-seeking, it does not easily anger, it keeps no record of wrongs. Y'all read 1 Corinthians 13, that's what it tells you. But one of the main characteristics about love that kind of stands out when you think about the word love is kindness. Kindness equates to love for me. Loyalty equates to love. You know, when you like somebody, you know, you like them for how they make you feel and all the positive things. But you easily turn that like off when it's something negative. But with loyalty, even if you do me wrong, I'ma still love you. Love keeps no record of wrong. With like, I probably will keep a record of wrong and then stop liking you. Right. Because like, look, now I ain't gonna keep on liking you. You just keep on doing this. But when I say I love you, I'm not going to keep no record of wrong. Do we see the difference between the liking and loving? So it's a major difference. But Steph and I want to talk, because we were talking about this. I don't know what my time is looking like. You got to keep track of time, Steph. Gotcha. Even when it comes to liking and loving, those are the barometers. You got liking on this end, and you got love on this end. But you got all this space in between. And what's in the middle? That's what we want to talk about. We got the liking, we got the loving. What's in the middle? Here's what I'm telling y'all what's in the middle. Here's what's in the middle. Y'all gonna remember this because it goes with like and love. You got like on this end. And then the first thing that comes right after like is lust. Woo! Wait a minute. I don't know. Because the reason why, okay, let's put this into perspective. Let's put this into action. Bam. You got a crush on somebody, right? Okay. You like them. We swap letters. Do you like me? Check yes or no. I check yes. Okay. We showing each other attention. Woo! Right? Then it's something about how you making me feel that, here we go. I did it backwards. I think I did it backwards. Or it could be side to side. You got like, you got lust, but then you got language.
I think we got language.
We got language and then lust. Okay, because the language is what you're talking that makes me like you even more.
Right, exactly.
It's what you're saying. There we go. So the things that's in between, you first got like on this end, then you got language, then you got lust, and then you got love. So we're going to break down the four. Like, language, lust, love. Right. We're giving you 4 L's. And this is one of the things that kind of helps us put into perspective as to why we do. Because Steph and I was having a conversation like, why do we even like who we like? What or makes us, or love what we love? What makes us make the choice of choosing to like this person? What makes us make the choice of choosing to love this person? I mean, it's so many people out here. As they say, it's so many fishes in the sea. What is it about this group of people, or what is it about this person that had me even like them in order to even love them in the first place? That's a question that we're asking, and that's a question that we're going to answer. And I would love YouTube for you all to also give us your answers, your input as well, because it's significant to know why you do what you do. If you never ask yourself why you do what you do, then you just out here just existing and just doing, and can be just destroying a whole lot. You got to know why you do what you do, even if it's something minor. Why did I choose to get a Snickers over a Mr. Goodbar? Why did I choose that? You gotta know why you do what I do. I remember when we was growing up as kids, my parents told us to never say, I don't know. Don't ever give that as an explanation, I don't know. It's always a reason to why you do what you do. Now, you may not want to say it
or acknowledge
it or even look at it, but it's a reason why you do what you do. And it may hurt because it makes you look a certain way, but then it also then will help you choose not to make certain choices. So we just want to ask these questions and answer them our way, and you answer them your way as to why we do what we do. Why do I like who I like? What is it about the language? Now, when you think about the language is, I'm not talking about English, Espanol, French. I'm not talking about those languages, even though I do speak all those. I don't. I have the desire to, but I haven't excelled in that yet. But I'm not talking about those languages. I'm talking about the language as far as what they're saying and how they're saying it, how they're presenting it, and what is it that makes you even choose to entertain, engage in what they're saying. Because the thing about it, even when you think about relationships, and I think about relationships because, relationships is inevitable. As long as we continue to live on this earth and we're human beings, we're going to have a relationship of some sort.
Right.
And with relationships, whether it's man or woman, you or friend or whoever, you're wanting to get their attention some way, somehow. Which is why, I choose to be in a relationship with you. There's something that I'm wanting from you, and there's something that you're wanting from me. So even when you think about relationships and the language, if I'm wanting something from you, then you could easily say something, and immediately it would spark an interest. Because there's something about you that I'm wanting. Now, why did I choose you? That's a question that we all can ask, each other. Why did I choose to be your friend? Why did you choose me to be your friend? And we've stayed friends all this time. And you have to ask yourself, what is it about this person? What were they saying to you that got you all, giggly inside? What were they saying to you that made you feel some sort of way? Because I know for me, with some of the relationships, when I think back on it, when I was in vulnerable places at time, when I were in places and stages of my life where I was going through phases as far as wanting to feel accepted and wanting to feel love outside of the family, if I got with somebody that said, oh, you're beautiful, immediately that got my attention. Because I was in a vulnerable place. I was looking for the acceptance. I was looking for the attention. So when somebody spoke the language that I wanted to hear, which was, okay, you're beautiful, which helped stir up my confidence and my esteem, I chose to entertain them. And you got to be careful, because just because you choose to entertain them at that time, they may not be what's best for you. And when I was going through what I was going through, I needed the self-esteem building. I needed the self-confidence. So if a guy came up and said, you're the most beautiful girl in the world, even though I may not have felt that, but that's what I wanted to hear, and he spoke the language at that time where I was, and so I chose to entertain it. But that was just me. Why did you choose to entertain what you chose? And that's a question that you really gotta answer, because language, again, as we stated when we was talking about the book that Pastor Rich, and as far as impacting your world, what you say, what somebody can say, can either create or cremate your world. And that language is so important, because you can talk that talk. And when you talking what sounds good to me, then I end up entertaining it. But is it what's best for me? Go ahead and talk about that language piece, Steph.
It's funny because you were saying, as far as, sometimes, they're offering what you want or what you're looking for, but it's a dangerous thing when you're not even looking for anything and you're not even wanting anything, and then you get presented something and it looks like something that you could possibly be interested in, and it's not something that you're necessarily looking for, like I said, but because it sparks your interest, you then go head first into it, and it becomes something that either one, you wasn't ready for, or to something that you wasn't expecting.
Yeah. And even when you think about it, because if I were to, I guess, bring a little bit of scripture, you know how it says in the scripture how life and death is in the power of your tongue. It's in the power of your tongue. Life and death is in what is being said. And easily what somebody saying to you can either bring life or death to your world. If what you're saying to yourself can either bring life or death. And it's so powerful, because that language piece is so significant. So you got your end zones, which is liking and loving, but we want to bring in the middle pieces of what brings it all together. And one of the stages, because you got the first stage, which is liking, but then the second stage is language. And language, I'm telling you, can be a good thing, but it can be a not so good thing. And it's all in where you are. I can't even read it. I see you, Ty Crawford. Some people say things to get you to lower your guards, so you have to be careful. Exactly. You got to be careful. People will say what they think you want to hear just to get what they want.
Absolutely.
And then after they get what they want, Then they moved on and gone and said something else to the next person and said what they wanted to hear. So it's all a game. Sadly, it's all a game. And a lot of people, play this game. They play this game. And they used to have lines, I used to hear lines, you must be an angel because you feel from all this black stuff. It's just like, oh gosh, like did you go rehearse this? Like, was there a book as far as lines? But people got lines. It's not even just guys no more. Ladies have lines as well. And we say what may spark a smile, to somebody, or what may get somebody to laugh. And we say, certain things, to kind of suave the person. And as Fam said, Ty said, to get them to lower their guard a little bit, to get you, a little bit more open. And I'm gonna say what you want to hear. Yeah, I make this amount of money, and I got this type of job working for me, and I got this type of house, and I got these type of cars, and my credit report is this number, and we say all those things, and I'm very family oriented, and I love to be affectionate, and I love to be compassionate, and I love to share my emotions, and we say all these things that sounds so good.
Sounds good.
It sounds great. And we lower our guard, and we make ourselves open and ourselves vulnerable to what they're saying. Because even when you think about it from a spiritual perspective, and you think about the serpent and how he even came to Eve, and he talked that language. As far as, saying, did God really say that you can't eat?
Twisted the words.
That's where it all came from. Twisted the words. So it sounds, appealing. And Eve, being a woman, and she went into it, and she started listening to the serpent. And next thing you know, she disobeyed what was told to her. That language piece is so significant because we don't realize how much the power that is there in what you say and what you talk. So you got to be careful. And we not just teaching this, but this is something that we literally was just talking about. It's so significant because even in this day and time with women dating, men dating, people, finding that companion and all of that. And the dating game is so easy to get caught up because, dating is fun. I'm being taken out and I'm being shown attention and, they're giving me what I want to hear and, letting me explore, what I've never seen and all those things. It's so easy to get caught up in it because it's different. Okay, this person is different from the last person. Okay, he talked on the phone more than this person didn't talk on the phone, and we start comparing, and then we start, letting our guard down, as Ty Crawford said, and we gotta be careful because it's a dangerous thing, and it can put you in a place where you think you're emotionally able to handle, and I myself have fallen into those areas in different stages of my life because I thought I could handle certain things emotionally that I wasn't mature enough to handle.
Right.
So you got to be careful as far as having a foundation of knowing what real love is and not what this fake love is around, that's going around this day and time, because this day and time, love only lasts for 10 minutes and then it's done.
Right.
But you got to have the true foundation. So you have liking as the first stage, then you have language as the second stage, but then your third stage, that's where we come in as far as lust. Because once you start telling me what I want to hear, and you give me these giggly, bubbly feelings inside, and you start, get me all tingling and tangling and all of that, then I start feeling, I'm starting wanting you based off of what you're saying, and not really now as far as who you are, but what you're saying.
Right.
Again, I'm starting to want you based off of what you're saying, not really who you are,
what it is.
but what you're saying. And that's what makes a difference as it relates to love and lust.
Yeah.
Because when I love you, I love who you are and not what you can do for me. When I lust, I'm lusting based off of what you can do for me. That feeling that you give. And let's just put a pause in real quick. Because when it comes to lust only lasts for about 5-10 minutes. If that. for some people. Oh.
Silly.
Lust only lasts for a couple of minutes. And then after you finish lusting, then what?
Right.
And we get ourselves all caught up and built up for 5 or 10 minutes. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no.
When something only lasts for a long time, for a short time, you gotta question it. If it comes too fast, if it only lasts for a short time, question it. Is it really worth it? Cause what ends and what comes fast ends fast. What comes fast ends quickly. If money comes quickly, it's gonna be gone real quick. It's something about when you work hard for something, you put that long investment in it, that it lasts long, that you know there's gonna be a long reward that comes from it.
Right.
But when you immediately just got hired and then you become the manager the second week, I mean, you gotta kind of question some things. I'm just saying. I see you, Sharon Wallace. I see you. And it's a thing as it relates to lust. Lust is only temporary.
Yeah, I feel like language almost sets the path on which way it's gonna go. If it's gonna go towards lust or towards love, because you know when people talk, you gotta pay attention. Just as a millennial, getting older and growing in certain areas of my life, I've noticed I listen more to what people say and how they say it. And you know, certain things do sound good, but at the end of the day, if I only hear what sounds good, I already know that's too good to be true. Nothing in life only sounds good. That's just not how that's not how life works. And when you don't know that and all you hear is, oh yeah, this is good, this is great, this is good too, this is where I'm gonna be at. But nah, that's not how it is. You have to know that, and that comes over time. And it comes with learning. But like what Pastor says, like sometimes it's easier or it's more beneficial to learn from somebody else, you know, sharing their experience with you based off of you getting that experience for yourself.
Yeah, your experience doesn't have to be your experience if you just learn from somebody else's experience.
Right.
But I think one of the things that you said, and I'm just going to repeat it, as far as, you know, listening to what people say and how they say it. That's so significant as it relates to the language, because language is so powerful. All of it is powerful. Language and lust is powerful because those are the ingredients with liking and loving. And when it comes to the language and lust, it can mess up what could be a good thing as it relates to love. See, love is a beautiful thing. But if you allow somebody's language to have you go into lust, you can miss out on what could be a beautiful thing, which is love. Sometimes we get so caught up on the language and what they're saying, and we act out on based off of the language with the lust, that we never make it to love at all. And some of us think that we love, but we really don't love, we just lust. And some of us may be in our 50s, in our 60s, and may not have ever experienced true love. Because all we known was lust, based off of the language. And so even when you kind of think about it, because it is my goal, I know what love feels like, because I know who my Father is, and because He is love, I know what true love is. But even from outside of that, when it comes to relationships, don't get so caught up on the language that you start then lowering yourself based on what is being said to settling for less, which is only temporary. And you got to think about it, even when you think about your own personal life, like, what is it that makes you never experience a fulfilling relationship of love? What is it about you that says, okay, you know what? I don't agree with relationships. I don't do relationships. You know what I mean? Like, because if we are relational beings and we call ourselves God's children, He wants us. He wants us to experience love with man and woman. That's His desire. Some people say it doesn't exist. True love doesn't exist. It does. It does exist. But when you've only settled for lust all your life, then you think that true love doesn't exist. But it can exist because God has created someone for all of us. That's where you get the term as far as soulmate. And we all have one. But a lot of us are giving our soul away to mates that only stay temporarily. And at the end of the day, we think, okay, we don't have a soulmate. No, you just gave your soul to so many mates, man. You've given your soul away that you don't think that you have a soulmate. But we all have that special one. And so that's what we want to just kind of bring light to, even when it relates to liking and loving. We want to give a different spin on it because although there's a difference between liking and loving, there's a feeling in between liking and loving. And those feelings consist of language and lust. And language, again, sets the tone for lust because you may not even have to even indulge in lust if you listen to the language.
Yep. That's what I said. It sets the path on which way you want to go.
You don't have to,
matter of listening.
You don't have to go into lust. Because even if they're talking a good game, I don't got to listen to it or settle or believe it. And all of it is a matter of choice. Like how you choose love, you choose to like. How you choose to like, you choose to engage and listen to the language. How you choose to engage and listen to the language, you choose to lust. It's all a matter of choice. And we try to bring these type of teachings, and I wish these type of teachings was available when I was growing up because I wouldn't have been ahead the stuff I was in.
Tell me about it.
You know, had somebody had broke these things down, and that's why we're back to basics, and we just provide you with basic teachings that will give you life principles, just from a scriptural perspective, because when it's all said and done, we all can love and we all can be loving, but we don't all have to love, in a negative way.
Right.
And when you know your foundation of love, which is God, then you love like God, which what 1 Corinthians say, love is patient, love is kind. Love endures all things, love does not boast. When you start seeing those things that go contrary to what 1 Corinthians says, love is patient. When you see somebody just always being, impatient and not complaining, that's not love. Love is kind. When you see somebody not being nice, always, has something mean to say, that's not love.
Right.
Know the foundation of love. And the foundation of love is in the scripture. Love is gentle. When you see somebody always being, just hard and mean, rough, that ain't really love. Love, keeps no record of wrong. Somebody always got to bring up, when you did this and when you was that. And, but I remember when you was, okay, that ain't true love. So know the difference between like and love, but then also look at those fine lines in between like and love, which is language and lust. You want to say anything before we close out, Steph?
This did something for me personally. I needed to hear everything that was just said. Share this because somebody else needs to hear it too. Yeah, this is good. It's good, real talk.
That's who we are, real people having real talk about real issues.
Yeah.
That's what we do every week at this time, Church Talk Radio, YouTube. And we only can just talk from our personal experience. We're not perfect. We have not dotted every I and crossed every T, and we're nowhere near perfection. But our experiences and our research and our studies, we're able to help and share with you all. And we hope that this has helped you, and we hope that you do share it, as Steph says, and share it with everybody. Like, this is not, the age limit type of a thing or gender. This is for everybody because we're all, as we said in the beginning, we're all human beings. And as a result of being human beings, we're all going to be in some sort of a relationship. And each relationship has its own dynamics. But just know why you choose to get in a relationship before you choose. And just know the difference between liking and loving. And the two ingredients in between, which is language and lust. Thank you so much, Church Talk Radio, for having Back to Basics Eyes of Faith broadcast another week. YouTube, I appreciate y'all. Please share this on your social media. Share this on your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram. Let people know that they can come and watch this whole thing from the beginning because we definitely, we value this time, and we don't just do it just to be doing it. We do it because we want to impact, we want to empower, we want to encourage, and we want to make a difference Thank you so much. Appreciate your love. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. Lady Michelle, I appreciate you so much. Until next week, you all be blessed. YouTube, thank y'all so much. Appreciate y'all. This has been great. Hopefully this has helped you all. It helped us. Like it has us looking like, okay, now what we about to go and do? We gotta make some decisions. But definitely share this. And again, save that date, Saturday, October 13th. Family Matters. Family conference for you and your family. We would love for you all to join us and be a part of this. And let's just bring some unity in this world. It's needed in this day and time. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a good one.